Maya stood in line at the busy coffee shop. It was just past 7 in the morning. She wore her blue flight attendant uniform. It was clean and pressed. She had woken up early to make sure she looked perfect for her job. The coffee shop was very busy. People rushed to get their morning drinks before work. Some people sat at tables typing on laptops. Others talked in small groups. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Maya checked her watch again. Her flight was in 3 hours. She needed to be at the airport soon. As the line moved forward, she thought about her day ahead. She would be flying to London today. It was a long flight, but she loved her job. "Next customer, please," called the young man behind the counter. Maya stepped forward with a smile. "Good morning," she said. "I'd like a medium latte with an extra shot of espresso, please." The barista nodded and wrote her name on the cup. Maya paid and moved to the side to wait for her drink. She watched people come and go. A mother struggled with a stroller. An old man counted coins carefully. A businessman talked loudly on his phone. "Latte for Maya," called another worker. Maya took her drink and thanked him. The cup felt warm in her hands. She put a lid on it carefully. This coffee would help her stay alert during her long day. As Maya turned to leave, she didn't see the tall man in the gray suit who stepped into her path. They bumped into each other. A little coffee spilled onto the floor. "I'm so sorry," Maya said quickly. She reached for a napkin to clean up the spill. The man looked at her. His face changed from surprise to anger in seconds. He looked at her uniform. He looked at her dark skin. His eyes narrowed. "Watch where you're going," he said in a loud voice. People nearby turned to look. Maya stepped back. "It was an accident," she said. "I didn't mean to." Before she could finish, the man did something shocking. He knocked the coffee cup from her hand. The hot liquid splashed all over her clean uniform. The cup fell to the floor with a sad thud. "People like you should know their place," he said. His voice was low but clear. People around them gasped. The coffee shop went quiet. Maya felt the hot coffee soak through her shirt. It burned a little, but the man's words hurt more. She knew what he meant by "people like you." She had heard such things before, but never so openly, never so rudely. For a moment, Maya stood still. Her hands shook slightly. She could feel everyone watching. Some looked away, embarrassed. Others stared, waiting to see what would happen next. The man smirked and started to turn away, as if what he had done was nothing. Maya took a deep breath. She could feel tears trying to form in her eyes, but she blinked them away. She straightened her back and lifted her chin. "I know my place, sir," she said in a clear, strong voice. "Today it's 35,000 feet in the air, making sure people like you arrive safely at their destinations." The man's smirk faded. He hadn't expected her to speak up. A college student at a nearby table had her phone out. She was recording everything. Maya grabbed some napkins from a nearby dispenser. With calm movements, she dabbed at her uniform. Then, with her head held high, she walked out of the coffee shop. Outside, the morning sun felt warm on her face. Her uniform was stained and wet. She would need to change before her flight, but something inside her felt strong and unbroken. As she walked toward the bus stop, Maya's phone rang. It was Jen, her friend and fellow flight attendant. "Hey, where are you?" Jen asked. "We need to go over the passenger list before our flight." "I'll be here soon," Maya said. "I just need to make a quick stop at my locker first." She didn't mention what had happened. She didn't want to talk about it yet. What Maya didn't know was that her story was just beginning. The coffee stain would wash away, but what happened next would change many lives, starting with her own. Maya rushed into the airport staff room. Coffee stains covered the front of her blue uniform. The brown marks stood out against the light blue cloth. She opened her locker and pulled out her spare uniform. Jen walked in as Maya was changing. Jen stopped and stared. "What happened to you?" she asked, pointing at the stained uniform now on the bench. Maya sighed. She didn't want to talk about it, but Jen was her best friend. "A man at the coffee shop knocked my drink all over me," she said. "By accident?" Jen asked. Maya shook her head. "No, on purpose." Jen's eyes got big. Why would someone do that? Maya looked down at her hands. They were still shaking a little. "He said some mean things. About people like me." She didn't need to explain more. Jen knew what that meant. Jen's face turned red with anger. "That's awful. We should put his picture online. Tell everyone what he did." She pulled out her phone, ready to type. "No," Maya said firmly. She took Jen's phone and put it down. "That's not my way. I won't let one mean person change who I am or how I treat others." Jen looked at her friend with wonder. "How can you be so calm about this?" Maya finished buttoning her clean shirt. "Being angry won't fix anything. I have a job to do today. I have people counting on me." In the airport terminal, Maya checked her appearance in a bathroom mirror. Her new uniform was perfect. No one would know what had happened earlier. She pinned her name tag on her shirt and practiced her professional smile. Then she went to meet her flight crew. The captain greeted the team. "Good morning, everyone. We have a full flight to London today. Let's make it a good one." Maya nodded along with the others. As they walked to the plane, she pushed the coffee shop incident from her mind. She had passengers to take care of now. The boarding process began. Maya stood at the plane door, greeting each person with a warm smile. "Welcome aboard. Right this way, please." She helped an old woman find her seat. She stored bags for a man with a baby. She made sure a young boy traveling alone felt safe. No one could tell that just 2 hours ago, someone had tried to take away her dignity. Once all passengers were seated, Maya began the safety demonstration with her teammates. Her movements were smooth and practiced. She pointed to the exits. She showed how to use the oxygen masks. She demonstrated the life vest. The plane took off. The city below grew smaller until it was just tiny buildings and roads. Up here, the morning's ugliness seemed far away. When the seatbelt sign turned off, Maya started the drink service. She pushed the cart down the narrow aisle. "What would you like to drink?" she asked each person. Then she saw him, a man in the third row who looked just like the one from the coffee shop. Same suit, same haircut. For a second, Maya froze. But it wasn't him. This was a different man who just looked similar. Maya let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "Coffee, please," the man said. Maya poured his drink with steady hands. She gave him the same kind smile she gave everyone else. The man thanked her and went back to reading his magazine, never knowing the small battle she had just fought inside herself. In row 15, a young woman named Priya was watching Maya. Priya had been at the coffee shop that morning. She had seen everything. She had recorded it all on her phone. Right now, she was writing a post to share with the video. This flight attendant had coffee thrown at her and responded with pure class. Now she's serving us with a smile like nothing happened. This is what dignity looks like. Priya hit post and watched as the first few likes came in. She looked up at Maya, who was calmly helping another passenger. Neither of them knew that by the time the plane landed in London, thousands of people would have seen the video. The small moment in a coffee shop was about to become much bigger than Maya could imagine. The flight to London was long. For 8 hours, Maya worked hard. She served meals and drinks. She helped a scared child during some bumpy air. She found medicine for an old man who felt sick. Through it all, she stayed kind and helpful. Maya didn't know what was happening online. She didn't know that Priya's video was spreading fast. People were sharing it. They were talking about the brave flight attendant who stood up to hate with such grace. When the plane finally landed in London, it was evening there. Maya felt tired but good about her work that day. As the passengers left the plane, many thanked her. The little boy who had been scared gave her a drawing he had made. The old man patted her hand and called her an angel. After all the passengers were gone, Maya and the other flight attendants cleaned the plane. They picked up trash. They fixed the seat belts. They made sure everything was ready for the next flight. "That went well," said Jen, who had worked with Maya on the flight. "You were amazing today. No one would ever know what happened this morning." Maya smiled at her friend. "Thanks. I just tried to do my job." The crew took a van to their hotel. They would stay in London for 2 days before flying back home. Maya was looking forward to a hot shower and sleep. In her hotel room, Maya turned on her phone. It had been off during the flight. Suddenly, it started buzzing with messages. There were texts from her sister, her mother, and friends she hadn't talked to in months. "Are you okay? I just saw the video. That man was horrible. You're all over the internet. So proud of you." Maya sat on the edge of the bed, confused. She opened her social media app. There were hundreds of notifications. She had never seen so many. Then she saw the video. It showed everything that had happened at the coffee shop that morning. The bumping into the man. The coffee being thrown. Maya's calm response. It already had over 50,000 views. Maya's hands started to shake again, but for a different reason this time. She hadn't wanted this attention. She hadn't asked for this. She just wanted to do her job and be treated with respect. Her phone rang. It was her mother calling from home. "Maya, are you okay, baby?" her mother asked. Her voice was full of worry. "I'm fine, Mom," Maya said. "It wasn't a big deal." "It was a big deal," her mother said firmly. "I raised you to be strong, but no one should be treated that way." Maya sighed. "I know, but I didn't let him get to me." "That's clear from the video," her mother said. There was pride in her voice now. "You showed him exactly who you are. You showed everyone who you are." After talking to her mother, Maya checked her work email. There was a message from her boss, Susan. The subject line said, "Call me when you land." Maya felt nervous. Was she in trouble for being in a viral video? Would the airline be angry? She called Susan right away. "Maya, I just saw what happened," Susan said when she answered. "The airline has been getting calls all day from people who saw the video." Maya closed her eyes. "I'm sorry if this caused problems." "Problems?" Susan sounded surprised. "Maya, people are calling to tell us how impressed they are with you, how you handled yourself with such dignity. The CEO wants to speak with you tomorrow." "The CEO?" Maya couldn't believe it. "Yes, this isn't bad news, Maya. You represented our airline perfectly. You showed exactly the kind of professionalism and character we want." After the call, Maya lay back on the hotel bed. She felt overwhelmed. A small moment in her day had become something much bigger. She wasn't sure how she felt about being the center of so much attention. Her phone kept buzzing with messages of support. The video count was now at 100,000 views and growing. Tomorrow, she would talk to the CEO of her airline. And somewhere back home, the man who had thrown the coffee was about to discover what happens when the world witnesses your worst behavior. The next morning, Maya woke up early in her London hotel room. The sun was just coming up. She made a cup of tea and sat by the window. Down below, people were already walking on the streets. Cars and buses moved through the city. Maya checked her phone. The video now had over 500,000 views. News websites were writing about what happened. They called her the dignified flight attendant. Many people were sharing their own stories of facing hate and how they handled it. At 10 o'clock, Maya's hotel room phone rang. It was time for her call with the CEO of the airline. "Good morning, Maya," said Mr. Wilson, the CEO. His voice was warm and friendly. "How are you doing after everything that happened?" "I'm okay, sir," Maya said. She sat up straight even though he couldn't see her. "I'm sorry if this has caused problems for the airline." Mr. Wilson laughed softly. "Problems? Maya, you have shown everyone what our airline stands for. Dignity, professionalism, respect. We couldn't have asked for a better example." Maya felt her cheeks get warm. She wasn't used to such praise from such an important person. "We'd like to do something to recognize your handling of this situation," Mr. Wilson continued. "When you return home, We'd like to feature you in our company newsletter, and I think you're due for a promotion to senior cabin crew. What do you think?" Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. "That's very generous, sir. Thank you." "No, thank you, Maya. People like you make our airline great." After the call, Maya got ready for her day off in London. She planned to visit some museums and shops. But as she walked through the hotel lobby, the front desk clerk called to her. "Miss Maya, there are some people here to see you." Maya turned and saw two women with cameras and notepads. They were local news reporters. "Maya, could we have a moment of your time?" one of them asked. "We'd love to hear your story." Maya didn't know what to say. She hadn't expected this. "I'm not sure I have a story to tell," she said. The second reporter smiled. "You stood up to hate with such grace. People need to hear about that, especially now when the world seems so angry." Maya thought for a moment. Maybe there was a reason all this was happening. Maybe her story could help others. She nodded. "Okay, I can talk for a little while." They sat in the hotel's small cafe. Maya told them what happened. She didn't make the man sound worse than he was. She didn't make herself sound like a hero. "I just did what felt right," she explained. "My parents taught me that how you respond to bad treatment says more about you than the bad treatment itself." "Were you afraid?" one reporter asked. Maya thought about this. Not afraid. Sad, maybe. Sad that some people still judge others by how they look. But I won't let someone else's hate change who I am. The reporters wrote down everything she said. They took her picture. They thanked her for her time. Meanwhile, back in Maya's hometown, something else was happening. The coffee shop where the incident took place had put up a sign in their window. It read, "Respectiva for ALOCUS Tomediores and ISTAFF. No exceptions." The manager, Tom, had watched the video many times. He felt terrible that this had happened in his shop. He had identified the man who threw the coffee. His name was Richard Green, a businessman who came to the shop often. Tom had called Richard's office. He had told them that Richard was no longer welcome at the coffee shop. He had also sent an email to the company Richard worked for with a link to the video. Now Richard's boss was sitting across from him, the video playing on a computer screen between them. Richard's face was pale as he watched himself throw the coffee at Maya. "This isn't who we are as a company," his boss said in a quiet but firm voice. "And I hope it isn't who you are as a person." Richard looked down at his hands. For the first time, he began to understand the full impact of what he had done. 2 days later, Maya boarded her flight back home. This time, she wasn't working as a flight attendant. She was a passenger. The airline had given her a free seat in first class as a small thank you for how she had handled the coffee shop incident. When she showed her ticket to the flight attendant at the door, the woman's eyes got big. "You're Maya," she said. "We've all seen the video. You were amazing." Maya smiled and thanked her. As she walked to her seat, other crew members nodded at her with respect. The flight home was smooth. Maya used the time to read all the messages people had sent her. There were thousands now. Most were kind. Some shared similar stories. A few were mean, but Maya didn't let those bother her. One message stood out. It was from a young girl named Lila. "Dear Maya, I'm 12 years old. Kids at my school are mean to me because I wear a hijab. Sometimes I want to stop wearing it so they'll leave me alone. But when I saw how you stayed strong and kept your dignity, it helped me. Thank you for showing me how to be brave." Maya read this message 3 times. Tears filled her eyes. She hadn't thought about how her actions might help others, especially children. When the plane landed, Maya was surprised to see Jen waiting for her at the airport. "Welcome home," Jen said, giving her a big hug. "You won't believe what's been happening while you were gone." Jen drove Maya home, talking the whole way. "The coffee shop put out a statement," Jen explained. "They said the man who threw the coffee is banned from all their stores forever, and they're starting a new program called Respect for All. They're giving free coffee to people who share stories about standing up to hate." Maya shook her head in wonder. All this from one small moment. It wasn't small to people who saw it, Jen said. Oh, and the man, Richard Green. His company put him on leave while they decide what to do. And get this, he's trying to contact you. Maya sat up straight. Contact me. Why? He wants to apologize. His lawyer reached out to the airline. They said it's up to you if you want to hear from him. Maya looked out the window. She didn't know how she felt about this. At home, Maya found more surprises. Her small apartment was filled with flowers. Cards and letters covered her kitchen table. Her sister had collected them all for her. These came for you, her sister said. People brought them to the airline office. They wanted to show their support. Maya picked up one of the cards. It was made by a class of first-grade students. They had drawn pictures of Maya in her flight attendant uniform. They wrote, "Thank you for being kind." Maya sat down among all the flowers and cards. She felt overwhelmed. Her phone rang. It was Susan, her boss. "Maya, I hope you're resting. But when you're ready, there's something else. A local TV station wants you to come on their morning show. They want to talk about what happened and how you handled it." Maya wasn't sure about being on TV. She had never wanted to be famous. "I don't know, Susan," she said. "This is all happening so fast." "I understand," Susan said. "But think about it. Your story is helping people. That girl Lila who wrote to you. There are many others like her who need to hear your message." After the call, Maya made a cup of tea. She looked at all the flowers and cards. She thought about Lila and other kids who faced the same kind of hate she had experienced. Maybe this wasn't just about her anymore. Maybe this was a chance to make a difference. Maya picked up her phone and called Susan back. "I'll do the TV show," she said. "If it will help others, I'm willing to try." What Maya didn't know was that Richard Green was going to be watching that same TV show, and he had made a big decision of his own. The morning of the TV show, Maya woke up early. She felt nervous. She had never been on television before. What would she say? What if she made a mistake? She put on her flight attendant uniform. The airline had said she could wear regular clothes for the interview, but Maya wanted to wear her uniform. It reminded her of who she was and why this had all happened. Jen came to drive her to the TV station. "You look great," Jen said. "Are you ready?" Maya took a deep breath. "I think so. I just want to be honest." The TV station was bigger than Maya had imagined. There were many people rushing around with cameras and papers. A woman named Kelly met them at the door. "Maya, so glad you're here," Kelly said with a big smile. "I'm the producer of the morning show. Let me take you to the makeup room, and then we'll get you ready for your interview." In the makeup room, a kind man fixed Maya's hair and put a little makeup on her face for the bright lights. As he worked, Maya saw the TV showing the morning news. There was a short clip of the coffee shop video. It felt strange to see herself on TV. Soon, it was time. Kelly led Maya to the main studio. There were 3 big cameras and lots of lights. 2 hosts sat on a blue couch. They stood up when Maya came in. "Maya, welcome," said the woman host named Lisa. "Thank you so much for coming on our show today." Maya shook hands with Lisa and the man host named Mark. They showed her where to sit. A small microphone was clipped to her uniform. "We'll be back on air in 1 minute," called a man behind one of the cameras. Maya's heart beat fast. She folded her hands in her lap to keep them from shaking. "Don't worry," Lisa said kindly. "Just be yourself. That's what people want to see." The red lights on the cameras came on. Mark smiled at the main camera. "Welcome back to Morning Today," he said. "We have a very special guest with us." By now, many of you have seen the video of flight attendant Maya Singh responding with amazing grace after having coffee thrown on her by an angry customer. Maya is here with us this morning. The camera turned to Maya. She smiled nervously. "Maya, thank you for being here," Lisa said. "Can you tell us what was going through your mind when that man threw coffee on you?" Maya took a deep breath. At first, I was shocked. I couldn't believe someone would do that. Then I felt sad that he was so full of hate, but I knew I had two choices in that moment. I could let his hate change me, or I could stay true to who I am. That's powerful, Mark said. Where did you learn to respond that way? From my parents, Maya said. Her voice grew stronger as she spoke. They taught me that dignity isn't something someone else can take from you. Only you can give it away. So I chose not to give mine away. The interview continued. Maya spoke from her heart. She didn't try to make herself sound brave or special. She just told the truth. What would you say to the man who threw the coffee if he were watching right now? Lisa asked. Maya paused. She hadn't expected this question. She looked directly at the camera. I would say that one bad moment doesn't have to define you. We all make mistakes. What matters is what we learn from them and how we choose to act going forward. What Maya didn't know was that Richard Green was indeed watching. He sat in his living room, still in his bathrobe. He had been put on leave from his job. His friends weren't returning his calls. His wife was barely speaking to him. As he listened to Maya's words, tears filled his eyes. The woman he had treated so badly was now showing him kindness he didn't deserve. Richard picked up his phone. He had been trying for days to find a way to contact Maya. Now he knew exactly what he needed to do. At the TV station, Maya finished her interview. The hosts thanked her. The cameras turned off. That was wonderful, Kelly, the producer, said. So authentic and powerful. As Maya stood up, Kelly handed her a note. This came for you just before the show. The front desk said it was urgent. Maya opened the note. It was written in neat handwriting on expensive paper. Dear Ms. Singh, it began. My name is Richard Green. I am the man who threw coffee on you. I would like to apologize in person, if you are willing to meet with me. Maya stared at the note in her hands. Richard Green wanted to meet her. The man who had thrown coffee on her, who had tried to take away her dignity, now wanted to say sorry face to face. What is it? Jen asked, seeing Maya's surprised face. Maya handed her the note. Jen read it quickly, then looked up with wide eyes. You're not going to meet him, are you? Jen asked. She sounded worried. Maya wasn't sure. Part of her wanted to throw away the note and forget about Richard Green forever. But another part of her was curious. Why did he want to meet? Was he truly sorry? I need to think about it, Maya said. For the next 2 days, Maya thought about the note. She talked to her mother, who said, follow your heart, but be careful. She talked to Susan at the airline, who offered to come with her if she decided to meet Richard. Finally, Maya made her decision. She called the number Richard had left in his note. Mr. Green, this is Maya Singh. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. Miss Singh, thank you for calling. Richard's voice sounded different from what Maya remembered. Quieter, less sure of himself. I wasn't sure you would. I'm willing to meet you, Maya said, but in a public place. And I'll bring someone with me. Of course, Richard said quickly. That makes sense. Thank you for giving me this chance. They agreed to meet at a small park near Maya's home on Saturday afternoon. Maya asked Jen to come with her. Saturday came. Maya and Jen walked to the park. It was a nice day with blue sky and a gentle breeze. Children played on swings while parents watched from nearby benches. Richard was already there, sitting on a bench near the fountain. He wore regular clothes, not a business suit. He looked smaller somehow, less scary than Maya remembered. When he saw Maya, he stood up. He didn't offer his hand to shake. He just nodded. Thank you for coming, he said. Maya and Jen sat on the bench across from him. For a moment, no one spoke. I've practiced what to say, Richard finally began. But now it all seems not enough. He took a deep breath. I'm sorry for what I did to you. It was cruel and wrong. There's no excuse. Maya studied his face. His eyes looked tired, like he hadn't been sleeping well. Why did you do it? She asked. It was the question she had wanted to ask since that morning in the coffee shop. Richard looked down at his hands. I could say I was having a bad day, or that work has been stressful. But the truth is, he paused. The truth is that I've carried hate in me for a long time. I grew up hearing certain things about people who look different from me, and I never questioned those ideas. He looked up at Maya. Until I saw myself in that video, until I saw what hate really looks like, and I was ashamed. Jen shifted on the bench. She still didn't trust Richard, but Maya was listening carefully. I lost my job, Richard continued. My wife is talking about leaving me. Friends won't take my calls, but that's not why I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I finally see how wrong I was. Not just that day, but for years. He reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. I can't change what I did, but I want to try to do something good now. He handed the envelope to Maya. This is a donation to any charity you choose. I hope it might help someone. Maya took the envelope but didn't open it. There's something else, Richard said. I'd like to speak at schools about what I did and what I learned, about how hate hurts everyone, including the person who holds it. Would you be willing to join me sometimes? To show people that change is possible. Maya hadn't expected this. She looked at Jen, who raised her eyebrows in surprise. I need to think about that, Maya said. This isn't just about you and me anymore. Many people have been affected by what happened. Richard nodded. I understand. Take all the time you need. As they stood to leave, Richard said one more thing. Meeting you has changed my life, Ms. Singh. I wish it had happened in a better way, but I'm grateful for the chance to learn and do better. Maya didn't smile, but she nodded. Everyone deserves that chance, Mr. Green. 3 months passed. Maya's life had changed in many ways. The airline had promoted her to senior cabin crew. She now trained new flight attendants. She taught them how to handle difficult situations with calm and dignity. The envelope Richard had given her contained a check for $10,000. After much thought, Maya had used the money to start a small foundation. She called it Wings for Dreams. It helped young people from poor neighborhoods learn about jobs in aviation. Maya had also made a big decision about Richard's offer. After talking with her family and friends, she agreed to join him for school talks, but only after he completed a special training program about understanding and respecting people from different backgrounds. Today was their first school visit together. They were going to speak at Lincoln Middle School. Maya felt nervous as she parked her car. Richard was already waiting outside the school. Good morning, he said when she approached. He looked nervous too. Good morning, Maya replied. Are you ready for this? Richard nodded. I think so. I've been practicing what to say. They walked into the school together. The principal, Mrs. Torres, greeted them at the door. Thank you both for coming, she said, shaking their hands. Our students are very excited to meet you. The video of what happened has been a big topic of discussion in our classes. Mrs. Torres led them to the school gym. About 300 students sat on bleachers, talking and laughing. When Maya and Richard walked in, the room grew quiet. Mrs. Torres stepped up to the microphone. Students, please welcome Ms. Maya Singh and Mr. Richard Green. The students clapped. Some whispered to each other. They all knew the story. Maya spoke first. She told the students about that morning in the coffee shop. She explained how she felt when Richard threw the coffee on her. I was sad and angry, she said honestly, but I remembered what my parents taught me, that no one can take away your dignity unless you let them. So I chose to keep mine. The students listened with wide eyes. When Maya finished her part, it was Richard's turn. Richard stepped up to the microphone. His hands were shaking slightly. I am the villain in this story, he began. The room was very quiet now. I did something terrible to Miss Singh that day. Something I will always be ashamed of. Richard's voice grew stronger as he continued. I want to tell you why I'm here today. Not to make excuses, but to show you that people can change. That hate is something we learn, And we can unlearn it too. He explained how growing up, he had heard bad things about people who were different. He had never questioned these ideas. He had let hate grow inside him like a poison. Then one day I saw myself on video, he said. I saw what hate really looks like, and I didn't like the person I had become. A girl in the front row raised her hand. Did you lose your job because of what you did? Richard nodded. Yes, I faced many consequences. I lost my job, some friends, the respect of my family. But the worst consequence was seeing the truth about myself. A boy asked Maya, why did you agree to come here with him? Why didn't you stay mad? Maya stepped back to the microphone. Staying angry would only hurt me, not him. And I believe that when someone truly wants to change, they deserve that chance. After they finished speaking, the students asked many more questions. Some were hard questions, but Maya and Richard answered them all honestly. When the bell rang, most students left for their next class, but a small group stayed behind. One girl approached Maya shyly. I'm Layla, she said. Maya recognized the name immediately. This was the girl who had written to her, the one who was bullied for wearing a hijab. I wanted to thank you in person, Layla said softly. After I saw what you did, I felt stronger. I still wear my hijab. And now when kids say mean things, I remember your words about dignity. Maya felt tears in her eyes as she hugged Layla. This moment made everything worth it. As they left the school, Richard said quietly, that was harder than I expected, but also better. Maya nodded. This is just the beginning. We have 5 more schools this month. 1 year had passed since that morning in the coffee shop. It was a sunny Tuesday, just like that day had been. Maya stood in front of a large room filled with people. She wore her airline uniform with new gold stripes on the sleeves. Today was a special day. We are proud to announce the first graduation class of the Wings for Dreams program, said the airline CEO, Mr. Wilson. He stood at a podium next to Maya. Thanks to Maya Singh's vision, 20 young people from our community have completed their training in aviation basics. The crowd clapped. In the front row sat 20 students in neat uniforms. They looked excited and proud. Behind them sat their families, many with tears in their eyes. Maya stepped up to the microphone. 1 year ago, a cup of coffee changed my life, she began. But not in the way you might think. What started as an ugly moment became a chance to make a difference. She looked at the young graduates. These amazing students will now move on to specialized training. Some will become flight attendants. Others will train as mechanics or ground crew. 2 have been accepted to pilot school. In the audience, Richard Green sat quietly. He no longer worked in business. He had found a new job at a community center, helping people from different backgrounds learn to understand each other. He and Maya weren't exactly friends, but they had a deep respect for each other. After the ceremony, people gathered for refreshments. Maya was surrounded by well-wishers. A woman from a national magazine wanted to interview her for a story about people making positive changes in their communities. Ms. Singh, your story has inspired so many, the reporter said. What's next for you? Maya smiled. Wings for Dreams will expand to 3 more cities next year, and I've been asked to help develop a training program for airline staff on handling difficult situations with dignity. Across the room, Layla approached Maya. She was taller now and more confident. She had become Maya's regular helper with the Wings for Dreams program. Ms. Singh, can I tell you something? Layla asked. I decided what I want to do after high school. I want to become a flight attendant, just like you. Maya hugged the girl. You'll be wonderful at it, she said. You already have the most important quality, dignity that can't be shaken. Later that evening, Maya returned to the coffee shop where everything had started. It looked different now. The respect for all signs were permanent fixtures. The manager, Tom, had become a good friend. He had helped raise money for Wings for Dreams by placing donation jars in all their locations. Tom was behind the counter when Maya walked in. The woman of the hour. He called out with a big smile. Your usual. Maya nodded. As Tom made her latte, she looked around the shop. It was busy, full of all kinds of people talking and working and enjoying their drinks. A young man behind the counter called out a name. He was new. Maya didn't recognize him. As he handed a customer their drink, he accidentally spilled some. "I'm so sorry," he said, looking worried. The customer, an older woman, just smiled kindly. "No problem at all, dear. Accidents happen." Maya watched this small exchange with a warm feeling in her heart. Sometimes, the world did change for the better, even in small ways. Tom handed Maya her latte. "On the house as always," he said. "Thank you, but I'll pay today," Maya replied, handing him some money. "Put the change in the donation jar." As Maya sat at a small table by the window, she thought about how far she had come. From a flight attendant just doing her job to someone who had helped change many lives, including her own. Her phone buzzed with a message from the airline. She had been chosen to lead their international training program. She would be traveling the world, teaching others what she had learned. Maya sipped her coffee and smiled. The drink that had once been thrown at her had somehow helped her fly higher than she ever imagined. Not just at 35,000 feet in an airplane, but in life itself. She had shown the world that when faced with hate, keeping your dignity intact was the most powerful response of all. And that was a lesson worth sharing, one cup of coffee at a time.